yung mga temporary shelters and permanent shelters later on, it can be planned well. But what is important now is immediate response and help. Whether it's on shelter, on food, or water. And now, I was just talking to the Coast Guard kung paano i-address yung medyo nagkaroon ng panic as far as fuel is concerned. And we were concerned on the transport issues. Daming barko kasi na lumubog. And then the trips of the boats here are not regular yet. So if it affects the fuel transport, then the fuel supply also becomes a problem. But we were assured na bumalik na daw yung mga barge na nagsasak ng ano ng fuel. So we are hoping that mag-stabilize na rin siya. The fuel industry in Bohol, particularly the suppliers, are assuring us that we have enough supply. So we're just asking the people not to panic because the more we buy fuel, for example, more than what is necessary, or most especially pag nag-hoard yung mga tao, then magkakaroon ng problema talaga. Kasi yung distribution of the, there will be an imbalance. No? So we are appealing to the people, let us just also, may disiplina na kailangan kasi yung iba nagre-regulate na sa volume na ibibigay sa bawat motorista. So parang gano'n.
Okay. Enough supply, sir, ng fuel kahit na may mga nakapila sa mga gasoline station.
The private sector, the suppliers are saying that,
Okay.
but the people are apprehensive. Hindi naman natin maiwasan yun. Kasi alam din nila na may epekto din sa transport ng fuel. So I was clearing that matter up with the Coast Guard just before I came here to talk to you.
Sir, second to the last question. Governor, ikaw dati, anong lesson, sir, yung dapat natutunan niyo noon na dapat ma-apply ngayon?
Well, I'm always in touch with Governor Art on the steps and the procedures. Immediately immediately after the audit. Well, primarily before the audit, the preparations was really on top. And in my district, I was calling all the mayors the night when it was expected to have a landfall in Bohol. And I was telling them that this is signal number 4, and this is not a joke. It's going to create havoc in the province. So, and then expectedly, ano yung nangyari? Ang hirap ng communication. Even in my hometown, I did not have smart, I did not have load, there was no power, so it was so different because you cannot reach out to the rest of the municipalities and then even outside Bohol. So the most important lesson that I always took into consideration was to reach out also to Governor Artia. That the rapid assessment must be done immediately, and the teams that will handle data gathering will be complete immediately and formulate both the relief as well as the rehabilitation plan. So a rehabilitation plan must be in place, and that needs data. National government cannot give us the support that we want if the data is not available and we would know which agencies will be implementing. It's not going to be the provincial government all implementing the rehabilitation and even the relief. It's multi-sectoral always. And when we had our rehabilitation plan the last time in the earthquake, we made sure that it becomes sectoralized so that the implementation also will not be just in one agency like the provincial government, but those that goes to SWD, infra to the PWH, DA for crops and all, the livelihood programs, the health programs, the budget goes straight to the department so that the implementation also becomes easier. So the governor is doing a lot of work together with Vice Gov, and he has been convening meetings and also receiving guests who comes to Bohol to assess the situation.
In short, sir, you understand na hindi lang kasi Bohol yung tinamaan ng bagyo, kaya yung efforts ng government ay nahahati sa maraming probinsya.
Yes, expectedly, because when the earthquake happened in 2013, October 15, kami lang at saka yung kaunti ng Cebu ang nagkaroon ng problema. But when the Yolanda happened, 3 weeks after, it was November 8, the Bohol teams had to move to the Yolanda areas. Kami naman, At that time, mayroong mga tao nagsasabi, ang hirap pala ng earthquake, buti sana bagyo na lang.
Oo.
Tapos nagkabagyo yung Yolanda, mas mahirap. So, sabi na ng mga tao sa buhay, naku, mas okay pala tayo kasi doon sa bagyo. So, uh, Bohol did its own response teams also, sent response teams to Leyte. Even if we just had our own earthquake. We sent our Tarcio and on-7 teams to help in the relief operations there, and even the retrieval of those who did not make it in the Yolanda. So some goods that were supposed to be for Bohol, it went also to help Yolanda. So those are the realities. Kasi kung wala yung Yolanda, hindi kasama sa Bohol, yung Bohol talaga will have a lot of support. Now this time, this is different because it's many areas of the country that's being affected.
Sir, magpapasko na. Hopeful pa rin na, I mean, paano nyo haharapin?
I have always said na yung mga Boholanos naman, medyo resilient talaga. The attitude of people and how we face problems is most important. And day 1 and day 2, when I was moving around my district, I still see people na pag nakita tayo, they wave their hands and they smile at you even if they're on top of the roof, fixing it. And then good Samaritans are there. We were moving in a highway, for example, in the Bigon. It was blocked by fallen Muheco post, electric post. And then some people were pulling the wires so that we can pass through. They did not know who were inside the bar. They did not know that Congressman Chatto was there, but they were just helping. So I opened my window and said, thank you very much. And there are also people who owns chainsaws, and they private persons. They were not told to do it, but they just cleared the roads by themselves.
Message nyo
So
lang, sir.
these are really very, very important characters of Filipinos, and most especially us here in Bohol. In times of disasters and difficulties, we always find a way of how to address them. We become first responders to our own homes and our own neighborhood. And we know that government and the private sector will be coming in to help us, but at the initial stage, we make sure that our struggles can be a very, very good way also of bringing out the best in what there is in every Filipino and every Boholano. And we always keep focused that as long as we have trust in ourselves as a people, we trust also that there are people who are willing to help us. And we trust also in the Lord Almighty all the time. Don't lose faith. Then there is really a way of recovery. We learned that lesson during the earthquake. It's the same lesson that we will be learning and will also be propelling us into recovery.
So, walang din kayo ng communication signals for during 2013?
Yes, because there were some communication facilities that were also damaged. But at that time, half of Bohol was heavily devastated.
Okay.
The other half was not that affected. So the communication was not totally off. The lateral lines of power were still in place. Only very few were affected. But this time it's the whole province is affected. Lateral lines are spread across the province. So even if there is power available from Leyte to Bohol, you cannot switch it on because it's gonna be affecting also the lateral lines are heavily damaged. But I was talking to NGCP and they were saying that they're trying to fix their lines from Leyte to Bohol. There are some towers that they need to fix. Once that's fixed, the other problem is how fast our utilities can restore the power lines that will bring power to every home. So these are multiple issues that can be really addressed by government agencies, private sector, and of course the people working together.
Sir, Governor Yap appreciates the national media for information dissemination, especially now na tax on communication dito sa Bohol. Your message, sir, to the media?
Yes, even at the time when we had problems here, when I was still governor, during the earthquake, during the attempted incursion of the Abu Sayyaf, and this time, the media plays a very important role because the media connects us to people, and that's the only way the international community and the national community can really bring in the message of the present situation. And there are so many kind hearts who are more than willing to extend help. The media really has to can play a very, very important role. We have full trust and confidence that our media are giving us the focus that we also need as of this point in time, and that is a big contribution to both the relief operations and the recovery effort. So we would like to thank the local, the regional, and the national media. I have met many friends in the media during the time of the other disaster, and I'm happy to see again this time our media friends always willing to extend a hand.
Okay. Thank you, Kong. Good night.
Thank you.